Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we are watching Star Trek, the original series, Season 1, Episode 4, The Naked Time. Now, I couldn't help but get a little bit of this spoiled for me as I went over and was prepping everything to go on Paramount Plus and I saw the thumbnail of a bare-chested Sulu. So I had that ruined for me. Nothing else but that visual alone. I'm a little irritated because I think seeing that initially would have been super choice. Anywho, as I've been trying to say, my thoughts are going to be reserved for the thoughts after the video and for Q&A after that. So my friends, right now, our only job is to gear down, go back in time to the NCC 1701 and make sure that we watch and see what Captain Kirk, Commander Spock, Scotty, Uhura, Bones, and a bare-chested Sulu have in store for us. So my friends, if you could do me a kindness, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications for whenever we go live here on YouTube with any Star Trek or sci-fi related content. And of course, if you'd like a longer format, please join us over on Patreon. Full-length watch-alongs and reactions are available there. Growing library, growing community, we would love to have you. But my friends, that is then. This is now, and now it is time for the original series of Star Trek, Season 1, Episode 4, The Naked Time. Prepare to engage maximum warp reaction, and away we go. God, I love that ship.
Our mission? Pick up a scientific party below. Observe the disintegration of the planet.
Oh, and then watch the planet. I'm guessing that the environmental controls failed. Spock and Kirk? No, it's not Kirk.
Check out the life support systems.
Roger.
Are those decon suits or are they like environmental? I would assume environmental. She doesn't have a suit on, or at least she doesn't have the hood part of it.
Someone strangled this woman.
Strangled?
Engineer at his post.
He's frozen there like he didn't care.
They didn't move.
Better look for yourself, Mr. Spock. One man was taking a shower, fully clothed.
Mr. Spock, this shit is so disturbing. I'm going to need you to look at it too to verify that I'm not crazy and that we can have the same story. Also, every red shirt, I'm not sure if this guy is a red shirt, but every red shirt that goes down to the planet now, I have nicknamed Carver based on the animated series. And my favorite red shirt over there is Carver. He survives, by the way, at least so far. A decontamination suit on, if that's what it is. The guy takes his glove off and then rubs his nose. Oh boy. Yep. My guy. This guy with his hands in his face. He's got to be a red shirt. Nobody wearing blue is doing that. No, I'll be proven wrong, but
All station personnel are dead.
What caused it?
Unknown, Captain. It's like nothing we've dealt with before.
nice. I love that Spock comes in just in time for, and the credits are rolling right now, so we have a little bit of time to talk. But Spock rolls in just in time to be like, hey, better make sure we don't get contaminated with anything. It's this guy smelling his hand. The Naked Time.
Captain's log, stardate 1704.2.
I gotta start being able to read star dates.
We remain in orbit to complete our mission. Close scientific measurement of the breakup of this planet.
So you got a dying planet. I like the idea of that.
You received my signal, Mr. Scott.
Yes, sir. Decontaminate.
It's the first time I've seen them decontaminate as a separate procedure.
You're fine, Joe. Up and out of there.
Joe. You'll be dead soon, Joe, but I'll remember your name.
Call that green stuff in your veins blood. The readings are perfectly normal for me, Doctor. Thank you.
That's the best. Okay, so nothing is popping up. Whatever Joe has.
I keep wondering. You keep wondering if man was meant to be out here. You keep wondering and keep signing out.
Nice.
Any guesses, Mr. Spock? Any idea what happened down there?
We've got this lighting back.
Circumstances were quite bizarre. However,
Again, this lighting, as a reminder, RCA owned NBC at the time, and they wanted things darker so they could have more color in the background, sell more TVs.
The lab status.
Nurse Chapel! It's my first Nurse Chapel. Joe, what's going on? What do you know, Joe?
Spectroanalysis tape, sir.
thank you.
Spectral analysis. Will that pick up the red stuff, I wonder?
And a fully clothed man frozen to death in a shower. If the image wasn't so ugly, it'd be laughable.
Kind of would like to have seen that, just to, you know, the frozen water effect or something.
Instruments register only those things they're designed to register. Space
Right.
still contains infinite unknowns.
The transporter didn't pick it up either.
Could what happened down there to those people create any unusual danger to this vessel and crew?
I mean, the answer is yes.
When a planet begins to go, there may be drastic changes in gravity, mass, magnetic field.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be warping out of orbit within a half second of getting your command.
Bridge to Cap.
Scotty.
Scanners report sudden 4-degree shift in planet magnetic field.
Starting.
It's beginning.
Yep.
Unusually rapid shifts.
On our way, Lieutenant. I'll hold you that half second, Scotty.
Oh, I love it. I will hold you to that half second. Oh, my apologies. My apologies to all of my blue-shirted comrades. I said that Joe couldn't be, no one wearing a blue shirt would have done what he did. I stand corrected.
What do you mean? What do you do with it?
Can anybody else see this stuff? I don't see anything on his hands.
This week it was botany he was trying to get me interested in. I was supposed to be collecting leaves, plant specimens.
Your attitude is all wrong.
Just found out about the botany.
You tell him, Joey. Explain to him.
So this is the fencing. I've always been told that
Hey, Joey.
Sulu could fence, but
You feeling all right? Get off me.
Whoa.
Nothing.
Joey's never slammed down his dinner container like that before.
What are we doing out here anyway?
Take it easy, Joe.
Whoa. You want to go, Joe?
We've got no business being out here. No business.
Is this what the infection's telling him, if it's sentient?
Hey, Joey, put the knife down, huh?
You're all steamed up, Joe. We don't belong here.
You say we're all steamed up? I like that.
Destroying and watching.
He's going to kill himself.
I don't belong.
Make a move, make a move, make a move.
What are you doing, Joe?
This is crazy tense.
Let Joey, you just get me sweat about it.
Careful, 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 careful. You guys keep working on your game. Don't worry about it.
Joey, give me the knife.
Oh, when somebody goes down, somebody's going to get it. That's a terrible knife wound, but
Rec room area 39. We need medics.
that'll contaminate him. Can he see something? Can they see something that we can't?
But unknown to us, a totally new and unusual disease has been brought aboard.
I always love these like retrospective captain's logs where he knows what's happening and we're learning.
All scanning stations manned, all recorders functioning, Captain.
Nice.
Steady now, sir.
Be a hell of a thing to watch a planet blow up, like naturally blow up.
Before its sun went dark, this planet was remarkably similar to yours.
Yeah, ancient civilization, now a frozen wasteland, no sun, or the sun isn't providing the same measure of heat. I say from my incredibly scientific background. Woo, they need to get their biofilters pumped up a little bit. Ah, Sulu got it too.
Was he trying to kill himself?
Yeah.
It's doubtfully meant to. He was confused, self-tortured.
Self-torture is an interesting term, especially for the 60s. Okay, he's alive. I thought they were performing an autopsy for a second. I was like, wow, that was worse than we thought. So much goes into this show. I mean, they are establishing a universe, and every little detail I find fascinating.
Compensate with the respirator.
I love having Chapel there, too. I'm a huge fan of Strange New Worlds.
What is it? Relative gravity increase, sir. Like the planet reached out and yanked at us.
Compensate.
So the planets increase the gravity pull, or?
Why is this man dying?
I don't know. Leonard, you're the bone saw here, so. The little things like the air cartridge in the bottom of the mask. I mean, who came up with this shit? He's gone, man. I'm always shocked by how every actor has incredible blue eyes in this show.
We must be prepared to respond instantly to any sudden change.
If that thing pops and starts sending debris out into space, you better have that half second with Scotty ready.
You informed of any change, Mr. Spock?
Acknowledged.
I'm gonna start walking like Bill Shatner. Just that stride. I don't think I can pull it off, but I'm gonna try, everybody.
I got to him in plenty of time. That man should still be alive.
But now Bones is sweating, like the rest of them.
You mean that Joe is down on the planet's surface and you're going to ask me if it's connected?
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
You should have kind of made that step yourself, Bones.
Tess, we know for everything.
That's
we
not
know.
good enough.
Well, we're doing
It's
everything
not.
as possible.
Bones, I want the impossible checked out, too.
Oh my God, Kirk. I want the impossible check too. That is such a great Kirk line.
Universal suffrage.
Report to sick bay, Mr. Riley.
Yes, Mr. Riley. Toot sweet.
Security. Mr. Riley is headed for sick bay. See to it he arrives.
Intercept him at the turbo lift. Oh, coming out with the thumbs in the pants. Kevin is ready for what comes next. This guy's doing. That's fantastic. This guy's doing a great job. Look at this. Some great environmental improv here.
Lovely eyes.
And you're contaminated. Yeah, I was just mentioning them.
You know what Joe's mistake was? He wasn't born an Irishman.
By that rationale, a lot of us have made mistakes. This guy with the shit with the doors and blowing on them, there's no way he was directed to do that. My man is absolutely killing it with this environmental shit. This show's amazing. This show's so good. Get
Beware.
this show. Look at George Brick Shithouse, man. Oh, Father Time kicks all of our asses so bad. To be fair, George still looks amazing. I'm just saying, I'm speaking for myself. Oh.
With my blood on your souls.
Oh, he's not screwing around, is he? George is killing it. Oh my God, I'm gonna love this episode.
Mr. Sulu chasing crewman with a sword.
With a sword, everybody.
Gravity pull increasing. We've shifted 2% and should stabilize our position.
Helmsman, stabilize position.
Helmet's not answering to control.
Whoa.
Mr. Scott, acknowledge. Our controls are dead.
Nobody's down there.
Take her.
We shall you at last.
Sulu, put that thing away.
For honor, queen, and France.
This is amazing.
Sulu.
Ah.
Sulu. Give me that.
That's it, Uhura. I mean,
Sometimes.
Take D'Artagnan here to sick bay.
take D'Artagnan.
Engine room, acknowledge.
You rang, sir?
It's Riley.
I've relieved Mr. Scott of his duties.
Oh.
Now, attention, cooks. This is your captain speaking. I would like...
The doors aren't working? Oh my God. Power's out everywhere.
Captain, at our present rate of descent, we have less than 20 minutes before we enter planet atmosphere.
And burn up, I know, Mr. Spock.
Stop talking. We have 19 minutes and 45 seconds. Oh, this is fun, but also tense. Oh my God, I love this shit. Another banger episode.
The only way to get that door open is to cut through these wall sockets here.
That sounds like something that's going to take longer than 19 minutes. Can you transport into it?
And I...
This guy's killing it. Killing it.
Mr. Spock, a fight in the after-ward room. Security reports incidents among the crewmen are increasing.
Oh boy.
Seal off all main sections. Stand.
I mean, what's general quarters? Isn't that everybody?
There will be a formal dance in the
I like that Riley is sort of like the big bad for this. Like he's the tangible foil.
17 minutes left, sir.
Oh shit. Woo! What in the is going on up there, Jim?
So far, there's nothing unusual in his bloodstream. Body function C.
What is it then?
Is there any way, anything you can do to snap him out of it?
Negative until I can get a little further on these tests.
Can't you flood engineering with like CO2 or something?
All female crew members will wear their hair loosely about their shoulders.
This guy.
Women should not look made up. And now, crew,
I like to think that Uhura was trying her best to mute him. Oh, great shot in the Jeffries tube. This is our first shot from inside the Jeffries tube? I believe so. We've seen crew members climbing out of them in the hallway. But we place these maggots, laddie. Maggots? Magnets. Did I say maggots?
Try your helm. You'll have enough power to keep her stabilized. Yeah, let's have a look at that.
I mean, we got to speed this up a little bit. This guy's making like perfect drawings to cut into the wall.
16 minutes left, Captain. We've stabilized, but still spiraling down.
Emergency signal, Captain. Both decks 4 and 5. Fights in disorder.
Lock everything down. I mean,
Better check Scotty first. Move him faster. He's got to get through that bulkhead.
oh, actually using a phaser.
I'll take you.
Please tell me that's paint.
I'll take you home again, Shaggy.
Okay, so Rand doesn't seem to be affected. Chapel doesn't seem to be affected. I'm wondering if this is, Spock doesn't seem to be affected. I wonder if this is like a human male type of thing.
At the rate you're proceeding, calculations show that you'll take a minute and a half, more than we have left. You can't afford a safety factor.
Just go. Yep. They have Sulu bound down. But Bones was sweating, so I'm assuming he's going to succumb at some point.
Harrison, where's my report?
Harrison's infected.
3.
Of course, Doctor.
Okay, so Chapel seems strange there too. And because they showed the contamination. I forgot. They made a point to let us know that she had been contaminated. Yeah. Yep. Spock, though, might be our only... Maybe his Vulcan heritage, his half Vulcan heritage will help him. We'll see. There's a bit of foreshadowing with that in sickbay whenever the different readings and stuff.
I would have gotten here sooner, sir, but crewman Moody stopped me in the hallway. Sir?
Take the helm.
Take the helm, yep.
try cutting him off.
Sir, if I could cut him off, don't you think Yes, sir, I'll keep trying.
Yeah, Uhura was grabbed by Sulu.
Scotty, we've got 12 minutes left.
Woo!
Call me when you've cut through. I want to be there. Kirk out.
I want to be there to punch Riley. Please let me know.
Mr. Spock.
What is it, Harrison?
Mr. Spock.
Uh-oh. So much for my theory.
I'm in love with you, Mr. Spock. The human, Mr. Spock. The Vulcan, Mr. Spock.
Nurse, you should...
Christine, please.
Oh, man.
I know how you feel. You hide it. But you do have feeling.
I wonder if that's true. Is that true? Does Christine really feel this way?
No, I love you. I don't know why, but I love you. I do love you.
Okay, so it's probably...
I love you.
The thing is, can you imagine Spock probably wanted to hear that?
I am sorry.
Christine.
Christine.
Oh, what a scene.
Is Mr. Spock there?
Oh, Mr. Nimoy. Such a good job. So I wonder if this is like, being intoxicated where it reveals the truth that you've hidden, blah, blah, blah. If there's like some element of truth in the way you act. Because, they were like, Sulu fancies himself a swashbuckler, so he becomes a swashbuckler. Christine could conceivably like Spock, and that bubbles to the surface. I mean, I'm speculating, obviously. Jeez, oh Pete. This is tearing Spock up. I'm going to kill this guy as soon as the door opens, Scotty.
Follow me through. Put your faces on stun.
Make sure we all shoot him. I want 3 shots going into this guy's chest. Oh.
I'm in control of my emotions.
That's it.
Control of my...
Oh, man.
I'm an officer.
This is all one shot. Letting him cook.
My duty.
Let him cook. Look at this shot.
6 times.
What have you got, Spock? All one shot. Wow. That's a director saying, let him cook. Just roll the camera.
Turn the engines off. Completely cold. It'll take 30 minutes to regenerate them.
Ship's outer skin is beginning to heat, Captain.
Oh, shit.
I can't change the laws of physics. I've got to have 30 minutes.
How do you break orbit without the engines?
Into a controlled implosion.
That's only a theory. It's never been done.
Theories are better than nothing. Bones, we need like an inoculation
I was on the
yesterday.
bridge.
He got it.
It's water. Somehow on this planet, water's changed to a complex chain of molecules. That's how we missed it. It passed from man to man through perspiration. Once in the bloodstream, it acts like alcohol. Depresses the centers of judgment, self-control. Now get someone to the lab.
Oh, if that's the case, then Christine's got those feelings somewhere.
Engineers, man your stations. Engine rooms report. Cycling station.
I mean, how many people are down, though?
My mother. I could never tell her I loved her.
We've got 4 minutes, maybe 5.
An Earth woman. Living on a planet where love, emotion, bad taste. When I feel friendship for you, I'm ashamed.
You've got to hear me.
Here, come on.
We need a formula. We've got to risk implosion.
Never been done.
He's gonna knock you out, Jim.
Engineer asked, did you find...
Yes, I found Mrs. Spock. I'm talking to Mrs. Spock, you understand?
Yes, sir. 3.5 minutes left.
Oh, no, he's infected.
Love. You're better off without it, and I'm better off without mine.
Look at this.
You're allowed to notice her. The captain's not permitted.
Jim,
He's so alone.
there is an intermix formula.
Spock, go, Spock.
Now I know why. It's called she.
Oh, that's so good. He's realizing who he's really in love with.
Stand by to intermix. I call the formula in from the bridge.
Entering upper stratosphere, Captain.
This episode is baller. Oh my God, his truth was his realization that he's alone, and he knows why they call her she, or call it she, the ship.
Never lose you.
What? What a line! Oh my God! I fucking brought tears to my eyes. Come on, Jim. Look at this shit. Okay, Sulu's back in charge. Anybody that's been inoculated... Oh, just let's tear that sleeve off. Jim is fighting through this shit.
Engine room. We're set.
Let's rock and roll.
Hyperbolic course.
Direction, sir.
Anywhere.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, anywhere. Anywhere that's not here.
Course laid in, sir.
Oh, you can see the fire looking up around the... You only have one love, Jim.
No beach to walk on.
Sir?
This episode
Bridge, we're ready.
laid bare all their deepest feelings. I'm about ready to do the same thing. I'm assuming that's the planet breaking apart.
Are you all right, Jim?
You?
Captain, my velocity gauge is off the scale.
Engine power went off the scale as well. We're now traveling faster than is possible for normal space.
Check elapsed time, Mr. Sulu.
It's going backwards. What?
Time warp.
What?
We're going backward in time.
How far back?
Helm answering, sir. Power.
This is surprising. I didn't expect this. Here we go. Man, right when I said I needed to start learning star dates, so are they going to get there before they arrived?
What did it do to us?
We've regressed in time 71 hours. It is now 3 days ago, Captain. We have 3 days to live over again.
Not those last 3 days.
Since the formula worked, we can go back in time to any planet, any era.
We may risk it someday, Mr. Spock. Resume course to our next destination, Mr. Sulu.
Course laid in, sir.
Steady as she goes.
We've got an extra 72 hours to get there, so take it easy. Wow, what a great episode. All right, friends, we just watched Star Trek, the original series, Season 1, Episode 4, The Naked Time, and this one and Where No Man Has Gone Before have been absolute bangers. All right, my friends, there's only one thing left for us to do, and that is to talk about it. All right, friends, just got done watching Star Trek, the original series, Season 1, Episode 4, The Naked Time. I'm going to tell you what, this episode was something else. Now, again, it's so strange because in the last reaction, we did Episode 3, Where No Man Has Gone Before, and that still remains my favorite episode so far. This, however, is a close second. Not a super close second, because Where No Man Has Gone Before was, in my opinion, a whole different stratosphere. But this one was incredibly good. And I think that it had some of the best acting that we've seen. And again, I think Mark Daniels was the director. Mark Daniels. Mark Daniels was the director on this. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to make note of the directors and the writers going forward. I have been, but I haven't really done any callbacks to it. Mark Daniels in this direction here was, again, it had to have been his decision, because he was that long scene with Spock, where Spock was able to kind of, go through a whole range of emotions. Again, which is something that Spock normally doesn't do. And with a range of emotions like that, we're able to see and investigate. And, the Naked Time, again, when I initially went on the Paramount Plus and pulled up the Naked Time to get ready to watch and, do my initial, prep, the thumbnail is a shot of Sulu, bare chested with the fencing, the rapier out. And I thought, oh, the Naked Time, I wonder, are they, is this, because I've heard rumors of like, there's like a Ponfar episode with Spock. And I thought, was this like some type of like mass, like aphrodisiac type of thing? That's where my mind went with the name of the title. Oh, no. It's much deeper than that. As the Naked Time was referring again to, I speculated before it was revealed that whatever this parasite or whatever this disease was, that it was acting as a way to like reduce inhibitions, almost like getting drunk. You say whatever you really mean, or the old adage that says, you only speak the truth whenever you're drunk, blah, blah, blah. And then Bones equated it to being drunk. And so with that, you have to assume then, if that's that's what we're going by as our baseline. Our baseline is this acts like being drunk. Okay, then the assumption being your true feelings are revealed, and your true fears and your true loves and your true whatever are revealed in this moment of intoxication that, this thing is kind of reproducing. So if that's the case, couple things. Christine Chapel, it looks like, I'm not sure if she loves Spock, but she definitely has feelings for him. I would guess, that's a guess, because if that we're laying bare the truth, the Naked Time, then this has to be a feeling that was buried in Christine. Again, I don't apply Strange New Worlds concepts and stories and narratives to the original series, because that's obviously not what was intended. This is decades and decades later. But I do like, and again, no spoilers, but there is a relationship between Chapel and Spock in Strange New Worlds. And I've seen before, when I was kind of just not doing anything for a channel, but, just, reading comments and things like that, that people said, that there was a basis for the Chapel Spock relationship, but I didn't read any more than that. I didn't get any examples or anything like that. I can only assume that this is one of those details that could have fueled the Strange New Worlds writers in saying, well, you know what? we can make this work if we, utilize some actual canon from the original series, which it looks like they did. But again, when we look through everybody, there were some benign ones, like Riley fashioned himself, or, a king of Ireland or whatever. And while he caused a ton of problems, it wasn't necessarily something that was, I think that that's hilarious that that's his like inner, I want to be the king of Ireland. If that was what somebody said, that, he was kind of manifesting. Sulu being a swashbuckler, I love that. I love that, that's kind of how he sees himself deep down. But the true revelations came, in my mind, with Christine Chapel, with Kirk, and with Spock. And that one long scene, and again, I'm watching these in the order in which they were aired. This is the first time that Spock has actually articulated that battle between his two halves, the Vulcan and the human side. And the fact that he was so torn up about thinking about his mother, about thinking about her having to, be on Vulcan where nobody appreciates emotions and they're considered a weakness. And here she is, a feeling human woman. It was a really cool revelation into Spock. And that's really early to get that, but that's a really great baseline. I mean, obviously, I know that he has these challenges with both of his sides because of like the later stuff. I've watched all the original series movies. And of course I've seen, this basis with Strange New Worlds. Like, again, I'm not trying to take that and, shoehorn it into the original series. I'm watching the original series without any of these preconceived notions, and I want to see where all of these ideas came from. Not the ideas that I'm seeing after decades of development. I want the original ones, and that's where I'm going to reformulate my own opinions from. It's part of the experience here of watching the original series. But boy, and again, I've known enough about Spock to know the battle between his Vulcan and human sides. And that's a powerful, perhaps the conflict inside Spock. And I mean, I can't imagine there being another one, but that's pretty much the basis for his existence is this problem that he's had to contend with his entire existence. The Jim Kirk one. Wow. We get to see laid bare the naked truth, the naked time. We get to see that, how alone Jim is. And I think this is an incredibly powerful statement because, again, never watched the original series, but you hear things being, a Star Trek fan that, Kirk's a womanizer. Kirk likes to go out and, he has sex with a ton of aliens that they encounter and blah, blah, blah. I don't know if any of that's true. I haven't seen any examples of that yet. I'm sure that there has to be something to kind of root that into some type of, statement that is generally accepted. I haven't personally seen it yet. Now, once we see this and we realize what's really going on and the depth of Kirk, he doesn't have anybody to walk on a beach with. He has a beautiful yeoman, but he can't recognize that because it's inappropriate for a captain to do so. And then he turns and looks at the Enterprise and puts his hand up. Now I know why they call you she, or why they call it she. Because that's his love. That's the love of his life. And bringing me to tears when he says, I will never lose you. I will never lose you. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? That is amazing. I love that shit. Incredibly great stuff. So again, it blows my mind. And I'm really trying not to disrespect the Man Trap and Charlie X. I don't mean to do that at all. I've enjoyed both of them. Charlie X is my least favorite that I've watched so far. I enjoyed the Man Trap. I didn't hate it by any stretch of the imagination, but again, I didn't have a lot to compare it with. But now when you look at this and you say, okay, so they had a group of episodes to draw from for the first. And I think they said they filmed the first 6 episodes. This is not counting the cage. The first 6 episodes were kind of canned and ready to go. And from those 6, they picked the pilot, the second pilot. The cage failed, never aired, but now they had to pick a second pilot. Now, what was to be the second pilot, Where No Man Has Gone Before, ends up being the third episode aired. And this one, The Naked Time, ends up being the fourth episode aired. Again, this is just being honest. I don't see where anybody could sit down and say, we should show the man trap over either one of these two most recent episodes. We should show the man trap over Where No Man Has Gone Before. We should show the man trap over The Naked Time. I can see in a way not wanting to start with The Naked Time, simply because you have to have some knowledge of the crew to kind of get into it. I guess maybe that was what they were looking for, kind of jumped you in with the understanding that you should know who Sulu is, that you should know who Christine Chapel is, that you should know, and again, this is Christine's first appearance too, that I've seen. This was an incredibly strong episode. And in a way, most people have their minds made up about a new TV show, at least in the past that they have. Nowadays, you can kind of binge and things like that. But in the past, if you watch the first episode and are hooked, then you're hooked. You watch the first episode and you're on the fence, then you check out the second episode, and that is the determining factor for, yeah, I'm good with this, I'll keep watching, or no, I'm not. If somebody was kind of on the fence after the man trap and then they go right into Charlie X, whoo, I'm assuming that a lot of people decided to veer off at that point. And I'm not, again, Charlie X is just, it's an okay episode. I guess, it's an okay episode. I'm not, when I rank the whole season at the end, I'm not sure where it'll fall. But it certainly isn't something that should be the deciding factor for somebody to stick with Star Trek, which I can guarantee you that it probably was. People that watched The Man Trap and enjoyed it, but do I enjoy it enough to spend an hour a week watching it? Let me check out the next episode. And then Charlie X is Charlie X, and people are like, well, this is sort of silly and weird. And so they're out. I think if you had 1-2 punched it with Where No Man Has Gone Before, followed up by The Naked Time, it would have been a much stronger open. Then you can put Charlie X in wherever you want. You can put the Man Trap in wherever you want. It's almost startling to me that they decided to go the route that they went without knowing you had these two powerhouse episodes. Whatever. Who knows? I don't understand. Obviously, they did something right, because here we are decades and decades later with however many thousands of hours of produced Star Trek. I mean, it's a bottom line. This was a great episode. It was a great episode. Make sure that I give all the credit. John D.F. Black was the writer. Incredibly tight episode. Really well written. I thought that the time stuff at the end wasn't necessarily thrown in, but it was like, again, there was almost a break in the episodic there, the episodic formula, and it was almost like a throw forward, not a throwback or callback, a throw forward, like, hey, we've figured out time travel, maybe we'll use it later. And I mean, again, knowing that time travel is a huge Star Trek trope, I'm assuming that they do use it later. What I'm really looking forward to is, do they make mention of this episode or the events of this episode, whenever they have to use it again? Oh, remember when we imploded the engines? We know time travel. And again, that kind of veers away from the time of the, problem of the week, because that would require someone to have seen The Naked Time in addition to whatever episode comes forward that they need to see later. I don't know. We'll have to see. So anywho, great episode. Loved it very, very much. I thought it was really, really well done. Really, really, like I said, very tight, very, acting was incredible. All in all, fantastic episode. Another banger for Star Trek, the original series. Great, great stuff. We had a couple crew deaths again. Joe, what was his last name? Tourmaline. Joe went down. I don't think we lost anybody else other than the people that were on the research station that were already dead. Which is curious, because I wondered how long they were dead, because if they went back 3 days, it certainly looked like they were dead longer than 3 days, but who knows? Maybe you could have saved them, but that's time paradox. Who knows? Who knows? Again, I'm sure they'll get around to answering this type of stuff whenever they dive deeper into the time elements of everything. And I really want to know how they basis all of that from the very get-go. What is time travel inside Star Trek? All right, my friends. So that's all for this segment of The Naked Time. I will be right back with Q&A where I go over all of these little fun facts that I didn't want to ruin for myself and research after having watched and reacted to the episode. So my friends, right now, if you could, do me a favor, hit that like button, smash subscribe, ring that bell for notifications for whenever we go live on YouTube with any Star Trek or sci-fi related material, or join us down in Patreon for full-length watch-alongs and reactions. Love to have you over there. But right now, let's learn a little bit more about Star Trek, the original series, episode 4, The Naked Time, with a little Q&A. Greetings, mon capitains, and welcome to another installment of Q&A. My friends, this is when, after having watched and reacted to one of the original series, or Star Trek the original series episodes, I go back and answer any questions that I have and look up some fun facts about said episode. So my friends, without any further ado, let's go over to tvtropes.org, a fantastic website that gives everything from cast reflections to trivia about the episode itself, trivia about production, about the script. Really, really great stuff. I've picked some of the highlights from there to share with you all, but I for the full experience, please go over there, link down in the description to tvtropes.org. Okay, the first little bit of information was George Takei. George Takei had no idea how to fence, but he basically told everybody during his audition that if it helped, he would absolutely learn how to fence. True to his word, as soon as he got the job of being Sulu, he started to learn how to fence, which was reflective in this episode with him running around as Kirk called him, D'Artagnan, or was it Spock? They called him D'Artagnan. Really, really great stuff. And I think, I can see where they went, wanted, had to have the fencing. It was very kind of, it didn't really fit on a spaceship, yet it fit on a spaceship. And George Takei did a fantastic job with his entire scenes, I should say, especially while under the influence of the disease. Now, a couple of these, again, with cast reflections, who thought or who really liked this episode out of the cast? Well, Gene Roddenberry named this as one of his 10 favorite all-time Star Trek episodes. I can absolutely see this. This was a banger. This one was so, so good. And George Takei named it as his favorite Star Trek episode, which, again, the work he put into this was amazing. And I think that the entire story hinged upon his initial kind of reaction to this, where we got to see one of our kind of core crew members going through this and done so fantastically by George Takei. In a 2001 interview, our writer that we had talked about before, John D.F. Black, also nominated this episode as his all-time favorite. And so this one, it was held in high regards. It's one of the top shelf episodes, according to the vast majority of the crew members. I'm not going to read everybody that loved it, but I can tell you this, it's on everybody's list. And so I think that pretty much speaks for itself. You're never going to get everybody to vote on one episode that they love the most and have it be the same episode. But when you collect them and this one appears on everybody's top lists, then something to be said about that. Okay, so my friends, here's a couple other fun facts from tvtropes.org that I thought was great. George Takei spent 3 days doing push-ups to prepare himself for his shirtless scene. It paid off, buddy. Brick shithouse. Now, there was a couple edits that occurred whenever this went out for syndication that they had to trim down some stuff that occurred in the original airing that they didn't necessarily, kind of had to cut for time with syndication, additional commercials to make money, blah, blah, blah. A couple of those things that they cut down that we saw the full-length version of, they broke down Joey's operation scene where between Chapel and Bones, that whole, kind of revelatory, what's going on, he's dead type of thing. And the other thing that they cut down on was basically the extended shots of Scotty working both in the Jeffries tube and cutting that, that pattern that looked kind of like the state of Texas out of the wall. They cut down a lot of that stuff too. So it wasn't anything major. There wasn't like a major scene that they completely omitted. A couple things. This is the first appearance of Nurse Christine Chapel. And so Majel Barrett's, was number one, and now she has come back as Chapel. This was being her first appearance. And as I mentioned during the production, that shot with Spock was done in one take. Now, here's the best part about it. That was not the scene as written. The scene as written was supposed to be way more over the top with, Spock, gesticulating and, clawing at his hair and pulling at it, woe with me. And Leonard Nimoy came forward to the director, Mark Daniels, and said, I want to do this quiet. I want to do this inside. I don't want to be wandering around in the halls. Originally, they had Spock wandering around in the halls kind of as part of the madness that was going on, he himself succumbing to the madness. Nimoy said, I want to do this where everything, the turmoil and the conflict is inside Spock, and he only allows this to come out when he's alone, which I thought was a fantastic touch. And then he literally, according to lore, Nimoy went into the room and asked Daniels just to let the scene run. Shoot it however he would like, as far as the cameras and everything, but give him a take to do what he wanted to do with Spock. And boy, was Daniels, the entire fandom, rewarded for Leonard Nimoy's going out on a limb here and saying, let me do this in one take. Baller. So baller. And also I found out through all of this that Nimoy added quite a bit to Spock that was never there before. One, the Vulcan nerve pinch. That was Nimoy on set figuring this out. Live long and prosper. Nimoy. Unreal. Everything that we sort of see as Spock was actually Leonard Nimoy creating the character that he would be defined as. And so one of the great things, we'll end with this, one of the great things about urban legend, the urban legend was that the scripts for the original series were in a constant state of flux, that they were being rewritten as they were being shot, that things were being added that weren't necessarily there and then became scenes entire to themselves. So it was it was an evolving process. Let's put it to you like that. And apparently during the scene in which Sulu comes into the bridge, bare-chested, and looks at Uhura and calls her a fair maiden, Nichelle Nichols responds with, sorry, neither. And everybody loved that so much because it was improv. It was not in the script, and Nichelle Nichols added it to the character of Uhura. Everyone loved it, and after rehearsals, it became part of the canon, and I think a very interesting element into Uhura, and especially an interesting kind of little sub-rabbit, little asterisk about just how much these actors were entrusted with their characters. Now, finally, the greatest thing that they had going for them in this one was kind of answered the question that I had during my thoughts. Would the time travel thing at the end, which kind of seemed thrown in a bit, would that be referred to? Would that be something that they say, oh, remember, back during the events of blah, 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 we learned how to time travel, imploding the engines. We can use that in this particular instance. Well, it turns out that they indeed were going to do that. And this was supposed to be, presumably, the first two-parter for Star Trek. And that this going back in time wasn't supposed to have been not necessarily an inconvenience or something to be worked around. They were supposed to have been thrown even farther back in time. And that would bleed into the next episode, which I believe they said was tomorrow is yesterday. And so that was to be that episode. And so I thought that was very, very interesting because they had in mind, at least the original concept was a two-parter. And again, that sort of presses the episodic formula if you start bleeding into additional segments of television. And so with that being the first two-parter in concept, it seems that we can definitely take a look at that going forward inside our exploration of Star Trek, the original series. So my friends, that's the Q&A for Star Trek Season 1, Episode 4, The Naked Time. One of my favorites. I know I don't have a lot to go on, but boy, oh boy, was this one good. Incredible acting. So, mon capitaines, until we meet again, make sure that you Vulcan roll, and we'll see you.